There was once a quiet street where every house looked the same, white fences, trimmed lawns, and strict rules set by the HOA. But there was one home that stood out, not because it was big or expensive, but because it was alive. In that home lived Emma, a woman who found peace in the simplest thing, her garden. Every morning, before the world woke up, she'd step outside with her cup of tea and breathe in the scent of her roses. To her, the garden was not just flowers, it was a reflection of her heart, her patience, and her healing. Each color told a story, each plant carried a memory. But peace rarely lasts when rules get in the way of beauty. The HOA didn't see color, they saw violation. They said her garden was too bright, too unregulated, too wild. To them, beauty wasn't freedom, it was a problem that needed fixing. One afternoon, while Emma was away at work, a crew arrived with clippers and bags. By the time she returned home, the air no longer smelled like roses, only dust and silence remained. Her vines were gone, her flowers uprooted, her joy torn out from the soil. What had once been life was now nothing but broken stems and footprints. That night, Emma sat on her porch under a pale moon, staring at the empty space that used to bloom. Her hands were covered in dirt and tears, but her spirit was not broken. She realized something in that quiet pain: you can destroy a garden, but not the gardener. Days passed, and instead of complaining, she began planting again, not at home, but around her town. At the park, at the library, in front of schools, anywhere that needed a touch of life. She started small, just one seed, one plant, one corner at a time. And somehow, people noticed. Neighbors began asking for help. They wanted to learn how to grow the same peace she carried in her heart. Soon, Emma was helping everyone, creating colorful front yards that turned the dull gray streets into a living painting. Each house bloomed with its own identity, a mix of colors and fragrances that made people smile when they drove by. And the HOA? They tried to fight it at first. They sent warnings, fines, and reminders about uniformity. But when every home in the neighborhood began to bloom, even they couldn't stop the change. What started as one woman's quiet rebellion became a movement of life and color. Her work caught attention beyond the neighborhood, local magazines featured her designs, children drew her flowers in school art projects, and even the city mayor asked her to help with a community project called Green Streets. Months later, the same HOA that once destroyed her roses invited her to redesign their office garden. They said it needed a touch of warmth. Emma smiled and agreed. When the work was finished, the once plain, lifeless building was now covered in vines, bright flowers, and the sweet scent of lavender. Visitors often stopped to take pictures, not knowing that the woman who built that paradise was the same one they once fined for having too many colors. Emma never raised her voice, never fought back in anger. She simply let her garden do the talking. Her revenge wasn't loud, it was beautiful. Because she understood something the HOA never did. True beauty doesn't need permission. And even if you cut it down, it finds a way to bloom again. Today, her story still grows, through every flower that blossoms, every tree that shades a child, and every neighbor who now understands that rules can't control nature, or kindness. Emma turned destruction into creation, loss into color, and silence into bloom. Her garden may have been destroyed once, but her heart never stopped growing. And that's the kind of strength that never fades. If you believe beauty always finds a way, like, share, and subscribe. Because every seed of kindness can turn even the hardest ground into paradise. Sparkling Heart.